Hello, I'm Dale Bryant, and I'm the Benefits Administrator for the Western North Carolina Conference. It's very happy for us to be here today and give you this information concerning our health benefits and benefits as we're moving forward. It is my pleasure to introduce you to our new Conference Treasurer, Reverend Mark King. Mark, welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Dale. So good to be with you. And again, I am glad to be your new conference treasurer. I'm honored in the confidence that the conference has put into me doing this work, and I'm looking forward to being out there, working with you, serving you in various capacities that come along. But today what we want to talk about is our health benefits program and the flexible spending accounts that is associated with that. The reason we want to do this is we just released our 2017 health rates for the programs, and also because at the last session of the annual conference there was a petition put forth and approved by the conference that we address the flexible spending accounts. So we want to take a few moments to do that today as well. Now, Dale and I will be going out to each of the 8 districts in October to have kind of a meet and greet with myself and with him. We'll be doing the same kind of presentation as well, but at those events we'll be able to take your individual questions. Today, for the purposes of our video, what we're just going to do is explain some things and put it out there so that those that might not be able to attend the district events will be able to at least have this resource to refer to. So when it comes to health benefits and health insurance, one of the things that I was reminded of was Acts 4:32 and following. In that particular passage, we see that the early church had many things in common. They came together, they shared things in common, and the inference there is that they took care of each other. So in my mind, when we look at the clergy of our conference, the clergy serving our churches and our agencies, as well as the lay staff like Dale, who work in our conference and district offices, we're covenanting together to care for their needs in the way that health insurance can do that. Now, one thing in mind, and I say this a lot as almost my soapbox, is that here in 21st century American culture, we've kind of got a little skewed with our understanding of insurance. You know, insurance was first put into place centuries ago to provide against catastrophic loss for people who were undergoing either property losses or personal losses. Insurance was there so that it wouldn't wipe out an entire household's financial standing. But here in 2016, we've gotten very used to insurance kind of taking care of those convenient matters for us. We want to purchase a plan, put a few dollars in it, the church puts a few dollars in it, and we get back out of everything out of it, plus more, that takes care of every health issue. That's not really the purpose of insurance, I'm afraid. So while we look at our plans, we look what it offers, we want to be competitive. We want to be comprehensive, but we also have to keep things affordable. So there are limitations. There are things that we have to have you share in the cost of, such as co-pays or deductibles or out-of-pockets. All of that comes together. But ultimately, we don't want catastrophic loss to hit any of those who have given their lives, who are serving the church in a vocational call of ministry. We here at Western North Carolina, like many annual conferences, maybe not all of them, but like many, are what we call self-funded. That means that the conference is the insurance company. Claims are submitted, we pay them out of the premiums that are received. We're not a corporate entity where we have to show a profit to stockholders. We do want to keep some reserves in place so that if there are some really big claims one year, we can provide for them. But what comes in automatically goes out. And I want everybody to really understand that as a part of our insurance program. Very, very important. Now, we do have some stop-loss provisions in place. And it's interesting, before I got this job, Dale, I heard a lot of misnomers about what that is out there. Some think, well, the conference has a $25,000 deductible on certain people or a $50,000 deductible. In fact, Our first threshold of stop loss, where the conference begins to be reimbursed on an individual's health claim, is $330,000.
I think you need to say that again.
I will. $330,000. Now, the second time somebody starts approaching what's called stop loss, we have a secondary amount put in place of $160,000, and then we begin to get reimbursed. But just think of those high dollar amounts, and the reason they're so high is so that we can keep our premiums that we pass on to the clergy lower. If we had a $25,000 or a $50,000 deductible in place, no one could afford what we are offering. So that's something very, very important to keep in mind. Dale, I'd like for you to talk to us a little bit now about just what are the particulars of our three plans, the basic, the plus, and the retiree.
Very good. Thank you, Mark. The Basic Plus plan, which was the original plan that started, has your lower deductible, lower copayment, lower maximum out-of-pocket expenditures. And that is the plan, unfortunately, because the costs are lower where you have to pay, the premiums are a tad bit higher. And again, that's the Basic Plus plan. The basic plan that began in 2015 has the higher deductible of $1,500. You have a higher co-insurance, your co-payments are a tad bit higher, and your maximum out-of-pocket expenditures are the same. Your deductibles for the dental and the pharmaceutical benefit remains the same regardless of the plan that you elect. Now, as we are going into charge conference season, this is also the time where you would need to elect and choose your new healthcare plan. If you decide and want to remain on the same plan that you are in for 2016, moving into 2017, you do not need to do anything. However, if you wish to make a change in your healthcare plan during this period of what we call as open enrollment, no qualifying event is needed because it is open enrollment, you would need to let me know via email, phone call, etc., to let me know so I can send you the necessary documentation for us to come back to me. Then that way, come January the 1st, that we can have in plenty of time for you to have your new ID cards, etc., moving forward into January the 1st. However, you must let us know this. You can't presume just by putting this information on your charge conference paperwork moving into this fall for 2017 in January. Please you do have to do this one additional step. So that is our open enrollment period for the health benefit plan. The same thing would apply to the flexible spending account. And I think that's the next thing that we would want to talk about.
Before we go there, Dale, though, what about retirees? Do they need to do anything differently for this coming January?
Thank you. You did ask me to talk about that, and I certainly did forget. The retiree health care plan remains the same for the retirees over 65 remains the same for 2017. If you are under the age of 65, and because the plan is the same, if you wish to make a change in the health care plan that you're currently on, basic to basic plus, or the other way around, basic plus to basic, you do need to let us know that you wish to make a change. And the premiums for all of this benefit is out on the conference website under the Administrative Services website of www.wnccadmin.org and under the Benefits Administration tab. I think that addresses it.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Also, as we want to remind you that we do use a third-party administrator to take care of all the paperwork and the claims payment, things like that. So when you hear HealthGram or Pharmavale, they are paid by us to do a lot of the administration, or else I'd have to have about 18 of Dale's doing all the massive claim work that we get and we do. So when you see HealthGram or Pharmavale, understand they are just administrative entities that we do some outsourcing to. They are not, in fact, the health insurance. Again, we are. So, yeah, let's transition now down and talk a little bit about flexible spending accounts. There are basically two that are covered in what we call our Section 125 cafeteria plan. That simply is the paragraph and notation that comes out of the Internal Revenue Code. That's why they are referred to such, much in the same way we refer to paragraphs in the Book of Discipline. And we have two here in the conference that we utilize. One is for medical or health care related expenses, and the other is for dependent care expenses. So let's talk a little bit first about the medical. What is this used for? Well, this is used as money that would be reduced from your salary per the agreement that you have on your clergy comp page, whatever amount you want to set aside up to for 2017, $2,550. That's the maximum an individual can put into their FSA. Now, if you're a clergy couple or you have a spouse that has an FSA plan at their place of employment, then they can also add that $2,550. It's only per individual. But you can use your FSA for all the members of your household. And so that's why it's an attractive benefit. You use the medical FSA to pay those co-pays, those out-of-pocket expenses, deductibles, things like that, that the insurance is not going to cover. And so that's why I think it is an attractive benefit. Now, one thing that we are doing this year that is upon advice from the council at HealthGram, and we've also looked at some other sources to tell us that you need to be in the conference's flexible spending account plan in order to participate. If you have one in your local church for your lay staff, that's great. I think it's commendable that you're providing that benefit for them. But because you're on the conference's health insurance, you're on our Section 125 plan, it needs to be umbrella on the conference. So we are mandating that this year, to be able to put it on your clergy comp form, you have to be in the conference's plan. Dale has all the paperwork for that. There's a great document out on the benefits tab that you can go to and explain everything about it. And also, we're here, both of us. We'll be more than happy to talk with you about any of the flexible spending accounts. Then the other one that we have is what we call our dependent care flexible spending account. That's to be used for expenses and where you're taking care of children or other dependents in your household where you're paying another entity or another person to care for them. The limit for that one per individual, again, is $5,000. And you simply put that on your clergy comp form that you're wanting to deduct that from your regular paycheck, however your church does it, and that will be available for you here at the conference for use in your dependent care expenses. The last thing I want to say, and then Dale's going to talk a little bit about how you enroll in the FSAs and the process for reimbursements, is this. And a lot of people get confused and don't like this aspect of SFAs. But there is the use it or lose it clause with FSAs. And that's something that the Internal Revenue Code stipulates. That's not our rule.
Right.
We probably don't like it when we when we lose ours as well. So it is there. The money that you set aside that you don't use does have to come back and stay with the conference. However, let me say this. I think it's very important that as best you can estimate your expenses for next year. What are the possible copays? Look on this past year and see what you did. What are your medications that you take regularly? What's the annual cost of those? Do as best as you can. Personally, I don't need the full $2,550, so I don't put all of that in there. Just because that's the limit doesn't mean you have to put there. You could make a lesser amount so that you don't lose it. In fact, Dale, and I'm not in the habit of giving tax advice, but I would say go under so that you never lose. Because ultimately what you're really doing is saving a little bit on your tax dollars.
Right.
Dale, tell us a little bit about enrollment and reimbursement procedures.
Very good. The enrollment process is the same as with the enrollment process in regards to your open open enrollment process for the health benefit plan. There is a separate FSA, flexible spending account for 2017 enrollment form that is available out on the website. Or if you cannot find it on the website, let us know and I can email that to you. You would enroll yourself and any dependent in your household that you would like to include on that enrollment form. You would include their name, date of birth, and their social security number on that election form and send that back to us. In addition to that information, you also would need to indicate the amount of the medical reimbursement that you would like to withhold. That would be up to $2,550 for 2017, or the $5,000 for the dependent care. Now, the one thing that you must remember about the dependent care, the premium for the dependent care, or the amount that you're withholding for the dependent care, is, like Mark said, for daycares for your children. It's not for just your dependents. It is for the dependents in your care. For example, if you are the caregiver for an adult, disabled adult, or if you have a parent with Alzheimer's and they are in adult daycare, you could use those monies for that particular expense. The difference between the two plans is one more issue. The medical amount of $2,550 is available to you on January the 1st. If you have a medical expense, you turn in a receipt or you use the added feature that HealthGram gives to us of your flexible debit card. You can use that at the point of sale and you could be reimbursed and you have that medical expense immediately available to you. And then you would just, we would invoice you for the church for the remaining months, and then it would just be reimbursed back to the account. The dependent care, however, is on an accrual basis. You can only receive out of the dependent care account item as to what you have paid in. So there is your difference. You can only pay it as you accrue. For the dependent care, the flexible medical account is available to you on day one. The forms are available. You have the election forms are available. The flexible medical reimbursement is available as well. If you do not use your debit card, you can file a medical claim with debit claim, with HealthGram. There is a form that you would complete, you would submit with your receipts, and then you would be reimbursed within 2 to 4 weeks. So it is somewhat of a complicated process if you have to use your medical to do the receipts. But if you use your debit card, which you would receive from HealthGram and Wealth Care Management, it is a very easy process. Mark, there's an added feature concerning the carry forward that the Affordable Care Act actually added to flexible spending accounts. Would you like to talk about that?
What you're able to do is that at the end of the year, you can carry forward up to $500 into the next year. So that all kind of negates a little bit of that use it or lose it provision, right? Because I think the government was getting a lot of complaints about that particular aspect. So bear that in mind. Also, Dale, they can get debit cards for each person that's listed on their form eligible to receive FSA reimbursement. So you're not just stuck with one card and have to pass it around. Each person on the plan can receive a debit card. If you have individual questions or concerns about our plans or anything we've talked about today, please know we are here to help you. We're here. Our ministry is for you. So would you please just email us, call us, come see us if you'd like, and we'll be more than happy to try our best. If we don't have the answer, we'll get it for you because we have a lot of great resources there available to us in all of this plan and all the work that we're doing. It was so good to be able to come to you today. We hope this has been helpful, and we appreciate your time in listening and watching us, and we look forward to meeting you sometime person to person. Thank you.
Thank you.